Good afternoon, it's Pete here from the Purple House at Forth in northwest Tassie. I'm going to address a subject here that is quite shocking. 1 in 3 adults have this silent epidemic, and the question is to you. Have you experienced fatigue, bloating, mood swings, brain fog, skin issues, poor sleep, dysregulated hormones? If you have these symptoms, which are quite normal these days, maybe you are included in the 1 in 3 adults. And have a guess what the cause is? A clogged fatty liver. If your liver is overworked and underpaid, like a lot of people's, then the whole body suffers. It's our detoxification organ. So it gets rid of waste out of the body. And if it gets clogged up with fat from processed foods, high starch carbohydrates and sugars, alcohol, certain medications will do it, hormonal issues, because it's the liver's job to break down hormones. So if you have excess hormones, it's overworked and underpaid. Environmental toxins and chronic stress. All these things will help clog up your liver. And it's apparently, it was called non-alcoholic fatty liver when it wasn't only alcohol that was causing it. But nowadays it's called metabolic dysfunction associated with fatty liver disease. I'm going to be glancing down a bit because I'm reading out some statistics and they're quite frightening, really. 1 in 3 adults worldwide now has the MASLD. I'll call it non-alcoholic fatty liver. In Australia, over 5.5 million people are affected, expected to rise to 7 million by the year 2030. Among those who are overweight and insulin resistant, that goes even higher, that percentage. It's well over 1 in 2 people who are overweight or insulin resistant. And what is also shocking is there are kids as young as 2 being diagnosed with fatty liver. Globally, 13% of children now have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And in Australia and the US, 10% of kids already show signs of fatty liver disease. Among obese boys, over 50% have fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, due to too many high starch carbs and sugars. And just imagine a generation growing up now with the silent liver damage that this causes even before they reach puberty. And it sets them up for a lifelong struggle of health disorders because we need a healthy liver. So if you suffer exhaustion, don't get a good night's sleep, you have belly fat, stored on your tummy, you can also know that you've got visceral fat stored around your organs and inside your liver. Hormonal issues, they are also associated with fatty liver disease. Bloating, reflux, IBS, because when we have fatty liver disease, we don't get rid of the waste properly via the liver, down the common bile ducts, into the gallbladder where it's concentrated, and then we get fats not being digested, so we get bloating with gas and also bloating with reflux and irritable bowel, and it's one of the most common things that causes inflammatory bowel disorder is your bile not flowing properly due to fat stored in the liver, a fatty liver. Now, we don't really need to store fat in our liver or fat on our body these days, because we did that normally and our bodies still think we need it, but we did it back in our ancestors' days when food used to disappear in winter. Now, our bodies still have that same genetic makeup, and our bodies think winter's coming, and it will store like crazy at any opportunity. And we store everything above 1 teaspoonful of sugar, about 4 times a day. And one of the first places we store it is in our liver. So the way to unclog it is to start getting energy more from fats than sugars. We don't store fat as fat. So if we change to good healthy fats in our diet rather than sugars, it gives a nice even energy source and doesn't clog up our livers, and it'll help our body recognise fats as good fuel, and it'll start using up those stores. We might have mood swings and irritability and low energy, brain fog. Our thinking is not as good as it used to be, and that's because our liver's clogged up with fat. Can't get rid of the waste out of the body. We end up with skin rashes and skin issues because our skin tries to get rid of the waste from the body. We had an elderly client brought to us. The medical world was saying she needed to go on dialysis because of the kidneys were not filtering properly, and we suggested she open up the bile ducts with beet flow and get the bile running out of the liver so the liver could get rid of the waste properly. And guess what? She didn't have to go on dialysis. The liver started getting rid of the waste and took the load off the kidneys. So it's imperative to get the health of the liver up to scratch and get it unclogged. There are a couple of things that will also help unclog a fatty liver, and NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, I think it's called. It's one of the things we recommend it's a powerful amino acid. It's a precursor to glutathione, which is our own antioxidant, the powerful antioxidant to mop up free radicals. That's the precursor to it, but it will help unclog a fatty liver. They give this to patients in hospitals when they come in with an overdose of paracetamol, which causes liver failure, and they give NAC to them to protect the liver, and it helps break down toxins, supports glutathione production. We also have glutathione, which is the next one on the list. It reduces inflammation and protects and helps regenerate liver tissue. So NAC is a good one in conjunction with getting more of your energy from fats rather than sugars. And glutathione, mother of all antioxidants. We produce it ourselves, but NAC will help us produce even more, and you can also take glutathione to increase the antioxidant effect. It's an incredible product that detoxifies heavy metals and gets rid of molds and chemicals that we're bombarded with just through living in today's environments. Protects your DNA and cells from oxidative damage, boosts your immune system, and restores metabolic function and supports healthy aging. Keeping our liver nice and healthy supports healthy aging. And then I've mentioned beet flow before. That has nitric oxide from the beet and taurine, and both those dilate little tubes in the body. So it dilates the bile ducts and allows the bile to run properly so the liver can get rid of the toxins. It also dilates your blood vessels, so it'll help with the higher blood pressure. But high blood pressure is often the kidneys having to work hard, so get the liver getting rid of the waste and the kidneys won't have to work as hard. And drinking plenty of water also assists the liver and the kidneys to get rid of the toxins a lot easier, because they're filters. The kidneys and the liver, they filter the blood, filter the toxins out, and they can filter dilute blood a lot easier than thick concentrated blood. Now, I'm also having a lunch and learn here at the Purple House Kitchen on Saturday between 12 and 2, and I'll be telling you a lot more about things, the way you can detoxify your liver and get your digestion cranked up to be nice and healthy, and the important things of how you can thrive instead of just survive. Because we should be thriving, we should be enjoying health. Now, the sun's out today, spring's just around the corner, and we should be loving life. And we can do that if we're nice and healthy. If we're not healthy, then it's a bit of a drudgery life at times. If we can't enjoy good health, and I'll be filling in on a lot more of how the body works and how you can get it working properly so you can really enjoy good health. I'll just see if there's any more on the paper here. So if you come on Saturday between 12 and 2, you have a nice bowl of either bone broth soup, or we often have a pumpkin soup as well, and then there's a platter spread out so you can eat and munch away as you listen to me. Unfortunately, I have to have a little bit to eat beforehand because I'll be chatting to you as you have your lunch. And yeah, I had one last week and people were quite amazed at what they learnt. It's all information I've learned over the last 20 to 30 to 40 years. Life has taught me, plus I've done a lot of research. So we went to Chicago to learn the biometric system of blood analysis and urine and saliva testing to help Grada get back to good health after she was hit by the truck here in Forth and left for dead. And we were doing all we could to get her health back to what it should be. And if you see her today, you will be amazed at her ever having had spinal injury and multiple shattered bones and goodness knows what. So yeah, we've put into practice what we've learned, and we've also helped thousands of clients get their health back by applying what we've suggested or recommended to them after we've tested them. We've looked at their live and dried blood and done metabolic testing. I can tell a lot of how your system is working, how the cells are making energy, and you'll probably be surprised at some of the things I tell you, because they can be a bit controversial, things we've been told that haven't been at all true, really. The food industry has got a lot to answer for, and yeah, so come along. There's places that are limited. I think I can, last Saturday I had 15 people listening, so the places are filling up. fast. So call us up and book in. You get a meal and lots to learn, recommendations to do so you can get your health back on track. And then if you want to book in with me for an appointment to find out exactly how your cells are creating energy and your metabolic health, then you can do that afterwards. And yeah, it's can be an eye-opener. Hope you've take this on board, because our liver is crucial for good health. So, and we might be one in 3 or 1 in 2 that have clogged it up. I say that we shouldn't really have any fat stored in our liver these days, because food hasn't disappeared for quite a while, so we don't have to store stored fat for the time when food disappeared. So NAC will help unclog that fatty liver and get your liver health back on track. Glutathione is your own antioxidant. This will help increase the amounts that you've got floating around, so it mops up free radical stress. And then beet flow gets the bile flow going, so you digest your fats better, you get rid of the waste out of your body, and you'll feel the improvements, I promise. And I hope to see you. Come along to one of my talks on Lunch and Learn on Saturday. And yeah, and we'll talk to you live next week as well. Okay, bye.